Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Just taking a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. It was a very unique weekend. We had some strange stuff going on with a really massive, like $40 million short position open at 84,000. There's like this stop loss hunt that came out on Twitter. It was pretty interesting, but suffice to say, it created a little bit of chop salad when the price action pulled back down to the low 83,000 mark. We've since held that level and are trying to break through that resistance, but holding very nice in this little support range of roughly 82 to 83,000. So that's a good sign for the most part. We are also bullishly backtesting this descending trend, a bit of a macro perspective there. So we're going to look at that and obviously reference some liquidation data here too. So thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. Hope you can learn something today. If you do want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Be sure to check out Bitunix. They're going to be offering a new deposit reward bonus here shortly, and just really good exchange that we use. No KYC or VPN required there. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. The important stuff to recognize here is this heavy pocket of liquidation between 85 and 86,000. I'm kind of rounding up a little bit there, but for the most part, just above 86,000, you could even round up and say 87,000 is that upper level that has a lot of liquidation. Okay, between here and there, there's a lot. So that also runs concurrent with the CME gap too. If you haven't caught my any of my previous videos, there's a CME gap that comes upwards of about 86,000. Now granted, part of that was filled yesterday on Sunday, so we can see there's not a lot left there, but still, no matter how you look at it, fair value gap, there's a decent amount of value upwards of about 87,000. So I just still think there's a distinct probability we're gonna see that level tested before the price pulls back. If it even pulls back, we don't know. But my original goal was to short that 86,000 top roughly. Okay, so that's just the general idea, the general concept there. That didn't happen over the weekend. I was hoping for it to have continued higher so we could have shorted, but once more, those opportunities don't always come around. So having said that, from the macro perspective, we can see, again, 85 to 86,000, pretty solid amount of liquidation there for us. So decent chunk there. Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't still a chance to see sub 80,000. We've just seen a lot of support in the $80,000 range, and it's less likely we're going to see that $76,000 mark in the immediate future. But obviously, fundamental catalyst, all fundamental catalysts aside, we should be good. Okay? Between now and then, though, there is a liquidation delta to the short side, basically implying that there's a lot more shorts in the market right now than longs, which makes sense. We didn't break through 84,000. That's holding as a pretty strong resistance level. But keep in mind, folks, the more you test a level, the more likely it is to break. This is like the third or fourth attempt to try to break that level. There's a decent chance we do see a push towards 86, 87,000. I'm not bullish by any stretch on Bitcoin, but I can tell you that we're transitioning well, and a lot of smaller timeframes are indicating that, the longer we spend in this range, the more likely we are to go higher. Okay, because again, we bottomed out pretty well in the 78 to 76K range. All that being said, open interest here tells us there's a lot of open interest, specifically that people are interested in opening positions and or have the most amount of open positions here locally at 83,500. That's right where the price at right now. Below that, 82 and 81,000 of those two areas there. So those are the support levels, so to speak, based on open interest and or volume. We can see that somewhat reflected here locally too as well with this point of control, effectively 82.5 to 83.5, right in that range there. That's once more that area of interest. So let's take a look here at the weekly since the week has officially closed and see where we're at. Previous week closed in a green doji candle. That's typically a very good sign. It implies bottoming out, or just, we spent the entire week with the bulls in control. Okay, and I wouldn't say it was a full control, but for the most part, we opened the week at 81,000 as a rough estimate, and we closed at about 83,000. I'm rounding up on that, but the simple way to understand is we closed higher than we opened, and that's usually a good sign. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there. When let's take a look at the moving averages, recognize that we're still above the 50-day SMA at 76.5. That there's again a lot of confluence there at that low local area there. Not to say we couldn't still hit that, but that is definitely an area of support. So I felt confident and comfortable adding to my position pretty heavy in the upper 70s myself. And that is a spot bag I'm referring to, not a high leverage long. Having said that, though, we can see we're still under the RSI, or under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index pulling back. Everything here is pretty much on the bearish side of things, or at least breaking bearish. But it's normal to see that based on how long we spent in this range, and we chunked down really hard. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Key takeaway here is stochastic starting to bottom out, so this little momentous push to the downside is tentatively over with. We can see the 4-hour time frame here as well. We are testing the 20-day SMA, but we're right there at the 200. That's all there at the $84,000 mark. Okay, so there's confluence there at 84K, letting us know that's a resistance level. But the more time we spend in this range, the more we are to see support below us here. As you can see, 83,200 is that lower area of support based on that local point of control. So when I say local, I'm simply referring to, the last month's worth of trading. We can see we spent, a decent amount of time above that, and or there's more volume below us in reinforcing support. We can also see here as well in the daily that we're still under 50 on the RSI. This hasn't changed much at all, but we are maintaining above our simple moving average. The money flow index is right there with it. Stochastic swinging up and MACDs converging. These are all transitionary beneficial scenarios. So we have interesting thing, right? We're stuck below some simple moving averages, but a lot of momentum pushing into it. Okay, so I think statistically at this point, we're more likely to find success because we are effectively establishing higher lows even on the daily over the past 7 to 10 days, and that's a good sign. 4-hour time frame, again, one of those transitionary time frames I'd like to utilize. We can see here, of course, that the price action is doing one of two things. So this is my play out from before. I was expecting or hoping for the price to come up to sweep that CME gap so we could short at 86,000. That didn't happen. Instead, the price action came down to the secondary play out here, bounced off 83,000, and so far doing pretty well. Once more though, if you take a look, a lot of weird volume and a lot of candle wicks that are kind of shooting in different directions. So once more, as per usual, be careful if you take a trade right now. I would say though that you're statistically, with what I've seen here so far, statistically more favorable to see the price go higher than lower, because this does appear to be somewhat of a flaggish pattern. Once more, you don't take trades based on patterns alone, folks, right? If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that. But the truth here is that this is generally a favorable sign. Usually the pattern breaks to the upside once it retests the local high, which is this guy here, which we've already done. So those are all very positive signs. So I'll update a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, Discord. That'll be available for you if you're watching this video. It's available over here if you're curious. Also be sure to check out our plus results too. Our automated trading bot's doing pretty well. We plateaued this weekend just because of how weird the market is, but generally speaking, weekends are weird. It's probably best to avoid trading on weekends. Okay, so 4-hour time frame, we can summarize here that we're in good shape. We're over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is right there above the price action. These are all generally favorable signs. So I like what I see here so far, and it does seem like a long would be a much better option than considering a short at this exact moment. Granted, I'm still interested in shorting the 86 to 87,000 range, especially as this volume starts to accumulate here and go increasing. That leads me to believe we're going to see that more just sooner, if you will. Okay, so I am considering a short-term long position here. Let's confirm this as well. Ichimoku cloud, we're right there at the cloud. Lagging span is not free and clear, and the conversion line is below the baseline. So these are all like this is kind of a mixed bag of confirmation. So the hourly isn't really telling us too much. The 4-hour is the biggest one there, kind of letting us know we have a significant momentum shift. And then the daily time frame is also implying that. Just note we're still under a resistance at 84,000, so we might spend more time in this range before we break through that. But it seems more likely we're going to see that 86 to 87K range. Once that level occurs, I'm going to definitely still be considering a short position in that range. But I'm not going to just take a short in the blind between now and then, because we don't know what the market's going to look like at that point. It might be very bullish and be transitioning to a very significant breakout towards 90,000. So between now and then, stay vigilant, folks. I would say though, statistically, better odds of finding success going up than down at this exact moment, but that can change any minute. So make sure you adjust your stop loss higher as you move into profit. I look forward to work with you if you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tag is the site, link down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again so much for your time. We'll see you soon. Take care.